We're good? Cool. Because I can edit it too, you know, make myself look more buff, all those things. Okay, so I'm going to start first with the simple arch that I have here. And so what you want to do is kind of like create some tabs on the end by folding it kind of like this. And then I usually fold them the same way. And then when you guys instruct your kids to use the glue, have them use a little bit, because the kids think oftentimes they're going to use a whole bunch of glue and it takes forever to dry. It's going to be just as effective to use a dot of glue and hold it, and it dries much quicker as it would be to use a ton of glue, except stuff is going to slip there. So once I've got those attached, or glued rather, I'll go ahead and attach them. So the other thing I like about kids working in groups is that one kid can hold that down while another one's making more. Oftentimes if you just use a single dot, it'll stick down beautifully. If you need to tape it on there, you can do that. So next thing would be, let's see, I'm going to do the twist next. So like you just want to start with a really simple, kind of like you would with the archway. Create the tabs on either side like that. And usually what I do for this one is I'll put like just a dot of glue, like if it comes out over. Come on, dude. Glue sticks work well for younger kids too because they dry pretty much right away. So I'll stick one side down, and then I'll tape that side down because you're going to have to apply a little bit of pressure to that. And then I'll just give it one simple twist like that. And then you can make that twist a lot more elaborate the closer you get it to the original. So I'm kind of liking that there, so I'll go with that. Again, just a little dot. You can hold it till it kind of dries or whatever, or tape it down if you're worried about it moving. Okay, moving on. So stair steps. Okay. So usually with stair steps what I do is I find the center like this, just fold it in half and kind of get those joined up. And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll move over just a little bit, maybe a thumb width on either side of that to kind of create a top for it. Okay, so one way you could deal with that is you could create some tabs like this. I mean, this isn't the end by any means. Anyway, and I always encourage the kids to experiment with different things they can make paper do. Like that could be kind of an interesting support structure. But if you wanted that to resemble more of a stair step scenario, then you would just fold it back and forth along the same fold mark until you have something that kind of resembles a stair step. And so I just, if I fold it down, my next fold goes up. I just repeat that. Same way with corrugation. And corrugation's about strength. So that's gonna be a pretty good stair step. Because I folded this right here, what I might do is wrap some paper around this to make it stronger on top because it's gonna wanna fold. So add a little bit of glue to that. Now a lot of times kids want to build off of these stairs and they get frustrated because the stairs collapse. And so that's when the pole comes in handy. So I'll place that kind of over here. So like if I put something on there, it's gonna fall kind of thing. But if I build a pole and stick that underneath, or I build something like a box to stick underneath there, that's gonna help as well. So let's see, what else do I have here? So while these could be really good support elements, the corrugation that I did, let's see here, it's really easy to do. I like to use the edge of the table, or you can use scissors to curl the paper. I'm sure you've done this before. I always give the kids a little bit of a variety of papers to use. And so what I do is I just like to put my thumb on the edge like this, and then I pull it to get a curl that's gonna go like that, and then I flip it over, and I'll do it again to reverse that curl. I'll flip it, do it again to reverse that curl one more time. And these are good for support, but a lot of kids like to use them as decorative elements. So what's nice about these things as support is that if you wanted to build something kind of tall, you could lay it on the side like this and then tape it down, and then you're going to be better able to build stuff up off of it. Or if you think it's just cool to stick on there, maybe just glue it on one of these. Okay, so if you just want to do a basic kind of curl like this, a lot of times I use these as decorative things. Like once I get it up here, I start using these to maybe create some interest coming off the sides. And so I just did a simple, boom, like really fast curl kind of thing. If you want it more curly, go a little faster, apply a little bit more pressure, get it to really move for you. You can use, oh, that happens all the time with kids. They pull too hard and it breaks. You can also use your thumb and scissors. That might create a little better curl for you. Kids like to use those, and sometimes I've seen them like create these kind of things, and then they'll build structures out of these, like a pyramid. So that could be another thing to do. Okay, so I'll demonstrate real quick how to do a box. So this one's a good structure because kids want it to be recognizable. And so what I do is I just take like a piece of full construction paper, I fold it in half, and I'll cut along that edge there. And then I want to go ahead and fold this whole thing in half like this. And since the box is going to have 4 sides to it, we need to divide these 2 halves in half again. So an easy way to do that, fold these straight to the middle like this. And these are strong structures as well, good for the base to build off of. And so then I'll just attach it like right here. One thing I like to do is add like a little tiny tab on the edge like this. So I'll just fold a small little piece like that. So I've got something to actually attach it to and glue it. So a few little dots on here. Not very much at all. Construction paper really soaks up glue super well. And then I usually set something like that aside. And then I'll start to think about ways that I could construct maybe a roof for that. An easy way to construct a roof is fold this in half. Looks kind of disproportionate, right? So usually what I do then is I kind of cut from the middle to the edges like that. So I have something that I'm kind of happy with. Something maybe like that. So getting this to try to stand up is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but one way you can do it is to add a little bit of tape to one side and then fold it to where you're happy with it like this, and then tape the other side, and that will make it to where it can't pull out any further, like this kind of holds it. And then when you attach the sides like this, it'll be much stronger. So one of the last things that I do with that is I'll add tape to the outside here, rather inside, that would be easier. And then I'll take my roof, stick it on there where I'm happy. It helps to hold your mouth that way. You gotta stick your tongue out while you're doing stuff. I don't know, that's just how I do things when I'm concentrating. Okay. Add a little bit of piece of tape, a little bit of tape underneath there. And I just kind of do the same thing that I did on the other side. So I'll add tape to the inside. I'll get that folded till I'm happy with it. And I've got a pretty cool little structure I can work on. The last thing I'll show you here is going to be the curve, or rather the phrase. Kids love these for decorations. And so usually what I do, I'll just do a small one. Like this example here. So I'll fold one spot where I know I'm going to attach it, so I know it's going to stick like that. And then you just cut little strips out of that up to the fold. Encourage the kids that, you know, they should be making unique structures. Every single one should be different. And so they should combine all these different tools. And so same as before, I'm just going to pull this against my thumb to get a little curl on it. I like to flip it over to alternate the curls. Kind of builds a more full look. The thinner you make these, the more curly they're going to be when you curl them. And again, be kind of careful. Kids are going to tear up this paper. It's going to happen. That's why construction paper is the medium of choice. It's cheap. So, a little bit of beard. Kids like to do that. What else? Cone. Or no, not cone. Cylinder thingy. You can make cones though, and I can show you how to do it. Start with start with a rectangle. And often I'll make like several of these and then cut them down to the size I need. Then you want to cut on that line. And then you need to get kind of like a curl in this, otherwise it's not going to attach. So usually I put it on the edge of the table and I curl it kind of repeatedly from both directions like this until I get a good kind of U shape in there. Because we don't want to force it to do anything that it's not already doing because of the curl. And then at that point, you want to add like a little bit of glue on the edge. And tape is really important when you do this technique, so you pretty much have to use tape on this one. And I'm gonna put like 5 dots of glue or whatever. And then I usually put a piece of tape like right on the edge here. That way when I curl it up and roll it over, I've got a place that I can like fold that tape over here. Do the same thing on the other side. I probably could have curled that a little bit better, but we'll see what happens here. Okay. Can you hold this for me? My cylinder making assistant. Thank you. So then you're gonna have to, like if you have a longer one like this, you're gonna have to add some tape in certain areas. So I'm gonna go ahead and just like add a little bit right there, a little bit right there. No. So now I've got a good structure that I can add underneath, glue under there, like, and it's gonna be a lot more sturdy. And so I've seen a lot of students use multiples of these. So I would experiment with these, try out some different stuff too, you know. Think about colors when you're going through here. You guys have a huge selection of different colors to look through. And I pre-cut some stuff over here that are thick and thin. You guys are also welcome to cut specific shapes if you want to. So group up, grab a foam core, write your name on the back, and go for it. You got the rest of the class period.